Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Pocket change becomes a portal to hidden treasure, where everyday coins turn into unexpected fortunes, and where we dive deep into the fascinating world of numismatics to uncover the incredible stories behind coins that may be sitting unnoticed in your collection or even rattling around in your loose change jar. Today, we're going to explore the astonishing tale of the 2004 1-cent coin, a humble Lincoln penny that, under rare and exceptional circumstances, has commanded a staggering value of $494 thanks to a range of minting errors, production anomalies, and collector demand that have combined to turn this seemingly ordinary piece of currency into a sought-after collectible. The 2004 1-cent coin, like many modern pennies, was part of the long-running Lincoln cent series, which has captivated collectors since its debut in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. By 2004, the Lincoln cent had already undergone a number of compositional and design changes, but its reverse still featured the familiar Lincoln memorial design first introduced in 1959. While most 2004 pennies were minted in massive quantities and circulated widely without fanfare, a select few stand out due to significant production mistakes that occurred during the high-speed minting process, where planchets, blank metal discs, are struck by dies under extreme pressure to produce the finished coin. These errors can manifest in various ways, each with its own degree of rarity and appeal, and it's these imperfections that have pushed the value of certain 2004 1-cent coins to heights that few would expect. One of the most well-known and valuable types of errors found in 2004 pennies is the double die, a phenomenon in which the coin's design elements appear to be duplicated, slightly offset, or shadowed due to a misalignment during the die creation process. This error is especially prized when it occurs on prominent details like the inscriptions "Liberty, in God We Trust," or the date 2004 itself. Collectors often use magnification to spot these telltale signs of doubling, and when found, these coins can command a hefty premium far beyond their face value. In fact, a sharply defined double die example from 2004 can easily fetch hundreds of dollars, especially when certified by professional grading services and preserved in uncirculated condition. Another major category of mint errors that can increase the value of a 2004 penny is the off-center strike. This occurs when the planchette is not properly aligned within the press and the die strikes it off its intended center, resulting in a coin that appears lopsided or partially blank. The degree of off-center striking can range from minor misalignments to extreme examples where half or more of the design is missing, and generally, the more dramatic the error, while still showing a clear date, the higher the value. Some 2004 1-cent coins with significant off-center strikes and strong eye appeal have been known to sell for hundreds of dollars to error collectors eager to add a unique specimen to their collection. A similar and equally fascinating mint error involves clipped planchets, where a portion of the coin is missing due to a mishap during the blanking process, usually when the metal sheet is misfed into the blanking press. These clipped coins can appear crescent-shaped or exhibit a more irregular missing segment, and when found on a 2004 penny with full visible date and minimal wear, they can be worth well over their face value, particularly if they are accompanied by other errors or if the clip location affects the coin's major design elements. In addition to these striking-related errors, there are also transitional errors and planchette composition errors that occasionally surface in modern coinage and can be extremely valuable. While most 2004 pennies were struck on the standard copper-plated zinc planchette weighing 2.5 grams, rare mistakes can occur when a blank intended for a different year or denomination is accidentally used. For instance, if a 2004 penny were somehow struck on a copper planchette from a pre-year 1982 stockpile or on a foreign coin blank, its metallic content and appearance would differ noticeably from standard issues. These types of errors are exceptionally rare but have been documented in other years and are highly desirable to specialists who focus on wrong planchette errors. Their values can soar well into the hundreds, and sometimes even thousands, of dollars depending on the circumstances and the confirmation by metallurgical testing and certification from a respected grading authority. Another valuable possibility for the 2004 1-cent coin is the presence of die breaks or cuds, which are raised, blob-like deformities on the coin's surface that occur when a piece of the die breaks off and leaves a void. Coins struck with a broken die can show dramatic anomalies, especially near the rim or around lettering, and these deformities are especially collectible when they are large, well-defined, and interfere with important design features. Die cracks and retained cuds, where part of the broken die remains attached and continues to strike coins, can also enhance a coin's value, particularly when the coin is otherwise in excellent condition. These defects offer a glimpse into the physical wear and tear of mint machinery and often attract collectors who enjoy studying the manufacturing process behind the nation's coinage. One more rare but intriguing error seen in some 2004 pennies is the broad strike error, which happens when the coin is struck outside the retaining collar, resulting in a wider and flatter appearance with no fully formed rim. Broad-struck coins are generally wider than normal and exhibit softer details due to the lack of edge confinement, and when such an error appears on a 2004 penny, especially one in high grade and with a clear date, it can elevate its value dramatically in the collector market. Also worth noting are struck-through errors, where foreign objects or debris come between the die and planchette during the striking process. These can include fragments of wire, cloth, grease, or even other coins, and the resulting impressions can leave bizarre and often dramatic marks on the coin's surface. A 2004 penny struck through such an object becomes a one-of-a-kind item, and if the error is particularly striking or mysterious, it can intrigue error specialists enough to command a strong price tag. Add to this the increasing trend of modern error collecting, where hobbyists and professional collectors alike are actively searching for unique specimens from relatively recent years, and it becomes clear why a coin like the 2004 penny, despite its age and general abundance, has become a hot target for treasure hunters and hobbyists. This renewed interest has driven up demand, especially for coins in pristine, mint-state condition that exhibit one or more notable flaws. It's not just the error itself that makes the coin valuable, it's the combination of rarity, visual impact, condition, and the growing appreciation among collectors that create the perfect storm for a small coin to carry such a significant price. The importance of professional authentication and grading also can't be overstated when it comes to maximizing the value of an error coin. Reputable third-party grading services like PCGS and NGC evaluate coins based on a strict set of criteria and assign grades that help collectors and investors understand the coin's condition and value. When a 2004 penny with an error receives a high grade, especially something like MS65 or above, its value can skyrocket due to the combination of rarity and preservation. Moreover, having the error type certified and described on the label helps ensure its legitimacy and enhances buyer confidence, making it easier to sell the coin at top dollar. Some examples of certified 2004 error pennies have appeared at coin shows, online auctions, and private sales with price tags reaching into the $400 to $500 range, particularly for coins that exhibit multiple or dramatic errors. The collector market for error coins is dynamic and highly specialized, and many seasoned hobbyists are always on the lookout for new and unusual pieces to add to their collections. This creates opportunities for ordinary people to profit from coins they might otherwise overlook. A careful examination of your loose change, coin rolls from the bank, or inherited collections can potentially uncover a hidden gem. It's also worth noting that certain varieties of errors may remain undiscovered for years, only to be found later by an attentive collector, meaning the full range of valuable 2004 penny errors may not even be completely known yet. As more people become educated and engaged in the world of coin collecting, discoveries of new varieties, error types, and unique anomalies continue to emerge, fueling enthusiasm and pushing values even higher. The story of the 2004 1-cent coin is not just about errors and price tags, it's a reminder that even the most overlooked object can contain hidden stories, rare features, and significant value if only we take the time to look closely. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or a curious newcomer, keeping an eye out for unusual details, using a magnifier to inspect dates, lettering, and design elements, and learning to recognize the signs of striking or planchette anomalies can open the door to surprising finds. The world of error coins is one of discovery, patience, and excitement, where knowledge is power and attention to detail can lead to thrilling rewards. So, the next time you come across a 2004 penny, don't just toss it aside, study it carefully. Check the lettering for signs of doubling, inspect the edges for missing pieces or rim abnormalities, weigh the coin to ensure proper metal content, and examine the surfaces for anything that looks out of place. Next, 2014 D1 cent USA coin. Today we're diving into one of the most unexpected and fascinating cases in recent numismatic history, the 2014 D1 cent coin, a penny that under very special and rare conditions has been valued at an astonishing $414 due to a combination of minting errors, striking anomalies, and unexpected die defects that have elevated it from a common piece of modern currency to a highly sought-after collector's prize worth serious money, and as we explore the reasons why this seemingly ordinary Lincoln cent has become a hot item among coin collectors and era specialists, you'll see how factors like double dies, off-center strikes, misaligned dies, die breaks, planchette flaws, and other highly specific minting mistakes contribute not only to the coin's scarcity but also to its increasing demand and value in the secondary market. So let's begin by understanding the context behind the 2014 D penny, minted at the Denver Mint during a year when billions of Lincoln cents were produced for circulation, and yet, within those billions, a tiny number were released bearing extraordinary mistakes that have turned them into standout examples worthy of attention from even the most seasoned collectors, starting with the fact that many of these rare 2014 D pennies were found to have dramatic double die obverse (DDO) errors, where elements on the front side of the coin, particularly the words, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 2014, appear to be slightly shadowed, thickened, or doubled due to a misalignment during the hubbing process, which occurs when the working die receives its impression from the master hub, and any misregistration during this process leads to a duplicated image being transferred to every coin struck by that die. And while minor doubling is relatively common and not always valuable, in the case of the 2014 D penny, certain examples of strong, unmistakable doubling, especially those visible to the naked eye, have been recorded and authenticated by grading services and then sold at auctions and collector conventions for hundreds of dollars, especially when the coin is in mint state condition with no signs of wear or damage, further adding to its premium. And then there are the off-center strike errors, which happen when the planchette, or blank coin disc, is improperly positioned in the coining press and the die strikes it off its intended center, resulting in a coin that shows an incomplete design with a visible blank crescent on one side and a compressed or distorted image on the other, and depending on how far off-center the strike is, and whether the date and mint mark remain visible, these coins can range in value dramatically, with some examples from 2014 D showing 50% off-center strikes and commanding upwards of $300 to $400 depending on condition and overall eye appeal, and in many of these cases, collectors seek out the most extreme or visually stunning examples, often preferring coins where the strike is significantly misaligned but the date remains intact, allowing the coin to be both identified and appreciated as a unique error piece. And then we move into the world of die breaks and cuds, which occur when a portion of the die used to strike the coin fractures or chips off, causing the metal to flow into the void and creating raised, blob-like areas on the coin surface, typically along the rim or over the design elements. And these cuds can vary in size and placement, with larger or more centrally located cuds being more valuable due to their dramatic impact on the coin's appearance, and some 2014 D pennies have been reported with large retained cuds that not only deform the rim but also stretch into the lettering or portrait of Lincoln, resulting in a strikingly unique coin that collectors are willing to pay hundreds of dollars for, especially when the cud is unusual in shape or interrupts multiple design elements. And another category of error that increases the desirability of the 2014 D penny is the misaligned die strike, where the obverse and reverse dies are not properly aligned in the press, causing one side of the coin to appear shifted in relation to the other, which can lead to abnormal rim thickness or even a coin where the design appears to be sliding off the edge. And although minor misalignments are fairly common and may not fetch large premiums, more extreme examples where the misalignment is both obvious and dramatic, particularly when paired with other errors like die cracks or doubling, can greatly enhance the coin's collectability and value, especially among specialists who focus on die alignment errors. And then there's the topic of planchette errors, which refers to mistakes in the blank metal disc before it is struck, and these include clipped planchets, where part of the coin is missing due to the blanking press cutting over the edge of a previously punched area, resulting in coins that appear to have a curved or jagged piece missing from the rim. And when this occurs on a 2014 D penny, it becomes highly collectible, especially when the clip does not interfere with the date or mint mark and the coin is otherwise well preserved. And similar errors include lamination errors, where impurities or gas pockets in the metal cause the surface of the coin to peel or flake, and these errors create a rough, split appearance that is visually distinct and highly sought after when it occurs in an unusual pattern or covers a large area. And 2014 D pennies with dramatic lamination errors have been known to sell for significant premiums, particularly when the defect is located on a visible part of the coin like Lincoln's face or the legend, making it both a technical error and a visual oddity. And we also can't forget about the possibility of wrong planchette errors, where a coin intended to be struck on a copper-plated zinc planchet is instead struck on a blank intended for another denomination or even another country. And although extremely rare, if a 2014 AD penny were accidentally struck on a dime planchet or a foreign coin blank, it would weigh differently, appear smaller or larger, and show signs of design cut-off due to the mismatch in size, and these types of errors are almost always valuable, with confirmed examples in other years selling for hundreds to thousands of dollars depending on the degree of the error and the coin's condition. And while no mass discoveries of wrong planchet 2014 AD pennies have been widely reported, the possibility remains intriguing and worth watching, especially for collectors who weigh their coins or inspect the rim for unusual characteristics. And yet another fascinating error type is the struck-through error, where foreign material such as grease, wire, cloth, or another small object interferes with the striking process, leaving a ghost-like imprint or depression on the coin's surface. And depending on the nature of the material and the resulting mark, these coins can range from curious anomalies to highly valuable oddities, especially if the struck-through area covers Lincoln's portrait or key lettering, and collectors of these error types prize them for their uniqueness and storytelling potential. And a 2014 AD penny with a well-defined struck-through error, particularly one involving a dramatic material like a wire or thread, can bring hundreds of dollars at auction, especially if it is authenticated and encapsulated by a reputable third party. Grading service. And speaking of grading, the importance of certification in determining a coin's true market value cannot be overstated, as having a 2014 AD penny with one or more errors graded and authenticated by services such as PCGS, NGC, or ANAX not only ensures the legitimacy of the error but also gives potential buyers confidence, often resulting in higher selling prices. And for coins in high mint state grades like MS65 or above, the premiums increase dramatically, as collectors are always willing to pay more for coins that are both rare and well preserved, and there have been several examples of graded 2014 AD pennies with various errors selling for $300 to $414 or more depending on the type and severity of the error, the visual impact, and the condition of the coin. And all of this highlights how a single coin, when struck under rare and imperfect conditions, can transcend its face value and become a collector's gem. And it also emphasizes the importance of paying close attention to detail, because it is often the careful observer, the one who takes the time to study their pocket change with a magnifying glass, to weigh unusual coins, to examine rims and surfaces for abnormalities, who discovers the coins that others overlook. And in the case of the 2014 AD penny, the combination of minting errors, rarity, and rising collector demand has turned what would otherwise be an insignificant modern coin into one of the more valuable recent pennies, one that stands as a testament to the enduring appeal of mint-made mistakes. And as more people enter the world of coin collecting and become aware of the variety of errors that can occur, it's likely that additional examples of rare 2014 AD errors will surface, further enriching the field and pushing the boundaries of what modern coins can be worth. And whether it's a dramatic off-center strike, a strong double die, a retained cud, or a struck-through thread that defines the coin, the value ultimately lies in the rarity, the story, and the fascination that such pieces generate in the minds and hearts of collectors who see not just a cent, but a piece of history, an accident of machinery, and a tiny fragment of American numismatic heritage worth far more than its denomination. So the next time you're handling a handful of change, last 1996 D1 cent USA coin, that reveals the hidden treasures lurking in your pocket change, where seemingly ordinary coins take on extraordinary value through fascinating minting errors, rare anomalies, and production mistakes that turn everyday currency into collectible gems worth serious money. And today we are diving into the remarkable story of the 1996 D1 cent coin, a modern Lincoln penny that under certain circumstances has sold for up to $184, all because of a series of minting errors, striking imperfections, planchet issues, die defects, and production irregularities that make this otherwise common coin incredibly desirable among collectors. And by the end of this video, you'll understand how such mistakes come to be, what types of errors to look for, why they are valuable, and how you might be able to spot one of these coins in your own loose change, coin rolls, or forgotten jars of cents. So let's begin with the basics, as the 1996 D penny was struck at the Denver Mint, a facility responsible for producing billions of coins annually. And while the vast majority of these coins are struck correctly and enter circulation with standard designs and compositions, every now and then, the high-speed, high-pressure process of minting results in flaws, mishaps, or mechanical failures that lead to unique one-of-a-kind coins, and it is these coins that fuel the excitement of error coin collecting, with some collectors dedicating entire collections to a single year or error type. And when it comes to the 1996 AD penny, the first and most prominent error that can catapult its value is the double die obverse, or DDO, an error that occurs during the hubbing process when the die used to strike the coin receives a misaligned second impression, causing elements of the coin's design, particularly the date, the word liberty, and in God we trust, to appear doubled or shadowed. And although minor doubling might not carry much premium, strong and clearly visible doubling, especially when confirmed by a third-party grading service, can dramatically raise a coin's value, and some examples of 1996 D double die obverse pennies in mint state condition have sold for well over $150, with sharper examples nearing or exceeding $184 depending on overall quality and certification. And it's not just the obverse that can show doubling. Although much less common, the reverse can also suffer from double die errors, particularly in the Lincoln Memorial columns or the lettering such as E pluribus unum or United States of America, and any sign of doubling, especially if combined with a high mint state grade, makes the coin all the more attractive to collectors who seek dramatic die varieties. But doubling isn't the only error affecting the 1996 AD penny, as off-center strikes are another valuable and dramatic type of error that can increase the coin's value significantly. And these occur when the blank planchette is not properly centered between the obverse and reverse dies during striking, causing the design to be stamped off its intended position, and this results in coins that show part of the design missing, with a blank crescent-shaped area on one edge and compressed or skewed design element on the opposite side. And the degree of off-center striking plays a major role in the coin's value, with mild misalignments commanding modest premiums and more extreme misalignments, particularly in the 50% range where the date and mint mark remain visible, bringing in values near or above the $184 mark. And these coins become even more valuable when they are in uncirculated condition with no post-mint damage, as error collectors favor coins that clearly showcase the flaw while preserving the integrity of the design. And then we have die cracks and die breaks, sometimes called cuds, which occur when the die used to strike the coin fractures due to metal fatigue or repeated use. And these fractures allow metal to flow into the void, resulting in raised lines or blob-like deformities on the coin surface, particularly along the rim or within the portrait or lettering. And these defects can range in size and shape, with larger and more disruptive breaks adding the most value. And 1996 AD pennies with dramatic cuds or large die cracks, especially those that affect key areas like Lincoln's profile, the rim, or lettering, are particularly collectible and can easily approach or exceed the $184 mark when in good condition. And retained cuds, where a portion of the broken die remains in place and continues striking coins, can also create unusual and sought-after visual effects, often adding further appeal to error specialists who prize unique die failures. And another noteworthy category is the clipped planchette error, which occurs when the blanking press that cuts coin blanks from metal strips accidentally overlaps a previously punched area, resulting in a coin that has a curved or irregular section missing, often from the rim. And when a 1996 D penny is struck on a clipped planchette, it becomes instantly collectible, especially when the clip is large or oddly shaped, or when the clip affects important areas such as the date or mint mark. And although smaller clips might only add a modest premium, more dramatic examples in mint state condition can easily be worth $100 or more, particularly when accompanied by other errors or certified by a reputable grading company. And then there's the fascinating world of broad strikes, which happen when a coin is struck outside the collar that normally holds the planchette in place during striking, resulting in a coin that appears wider and flatter than usual, often with a missing or distorted rim. And 1996 D broad-struck pennies in high-grade condition, especially those with full and even expansion and minimal wear, are known to bring strong interest from error collectors. And depending on the severity of the broad strike and the coin state of preservation, values can range from $50 to well over $150, with the most desirable pieces approaching or exceeding $184, especially when the error is both dramatic and well-centered. And the struck-through error is another fascinating type of mistake, where foreign materials such as grease, cloth, string, or metal shavings come between the die and the planchette during striking, leaving a recessed or ghost-like imprint on the coin surface. And such errors are highly variable depending on the material and the impression it Leaves, with some coins appearing to have soft or missing design elements due to a struck-through grease error, while others may show defined impressions of foreign objects like threads or wire, and these coins are valued for their uniqueness and the story they tell about the minting process. And when such an error appears on a 1996 AD penny, particularly in an eye-catching area such as Lincoln's face, the lettering, or the Lincoln Memorial, and the coin remains in a high grade, its value can climb substantially, with well-documented examples fetching hundreds of dollars among specialized collectors, and planchette composition errors also come into play, such as when a coin is accidentally struck on the wrong metal blank, and although most 1996 AD pennies were struck on copper-plated zinc planchets, weighing 2.5 grams, rare instances may exist where a coin was mistakenly struck on a blank intended for a foreign denomination or another US coin such as a dime, resulting in a coin with incorrect weight, size, and appearance, and these wrong planchette errors are among the most valuable and rarest types of mistakes, and while confirmed examples for 1996 AD are extremely scarce, even the possibility makes weighing and measuring unusual coins a valuable habit for collectors and treasure hunters, because if such an error is discovered and confirmed through metallurgical testing and certification, its value could far exceed the $184 mark, reaching into the thousands depending on the metal and rarity of the mistake. And then we consider the impact of misaligned dies, where the obverse and reverse dies are not perfectly aligned during striking, resulting in a coin that shows unusual features such as an off-center design on one side while the other side remains properly aligned, and these errors create dramatic visual differences in design positioning and are particularly prized when severe, with 1996 D examples showing high degrees of misalignment, strong separation of design elements, and minimal post-mint wear being among the more valuable specimens within this error type, and when multiple errors appear on the same coin, such as a double die combined with an off-center strike or a die crack with a clipped planchette, the rarity and appeal increase exponentially, and these multi-error coins often find eager buyers at auctions and coin shows, particularly when certified by trusted services such as PCGS, NGC, or ANAX, who verify both the coin's authenticity and the specific errors present, and having such certification not only helps protect against counterfeits or altered coins but also increases buyer confidence and can significantly raise the coin's market value, pushing well into the $184 range or higher depending on market demand and visual impact. And speaking of condition, the coin's grade, its state of preservation, plays a crucial role in determining its value, as coins in mint state condition, especially those graded MS65 or higher, are always more desirable due to their original luster, sharp details, and absence of wear, and even common coins in such condition can command premiums, but when paired with rare and visually striking errors, the value increases dramatically, and this is especially true for the 1996 AD penny, where a well-struck error coin with full red color and minimal contact marks can push the price close to or even beyond the $184 level depending on the error type and collector interest, and the rising popularity of error coin collecting.